Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm Mac from Mac Reviews, joined here by my co-host, Kristin, aka Miss Flamingo. How you doing tonight, Kristin?
I'm doing pretty well. A little tired. I had a busy week last week with Sundance, all Sundance virtual. Had watched a lot of good movies that are going to be out later on this year. But other than that, not too bad. How's life been going with you? I know you saw The Beekeeper.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and shout out to your dad because it was his birthday.
Yeah, Papa Mac turned 56 this past week.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Pops. I know you probably listen to this, but I love you. But anyway, we got a nice 2-for-1 special for y'all tonight. We are reviewing 2 movies that are going to be out at the time of this recording. You can go check them out. The first movie, we got a screener from our good friends at Screen Media, and it is Bad Hombres with Luke Hemsworth, Tyrese Gibson, and Thomas Jane. It's from director John Stolberg Jr. And the plot of the movie follows desperate to provide for his family, undocumented immigrant Caesar is hired alongside day laborer Alfonso to work for Donnie, a brute who is also a psychopathic criminal. Now finding themselves entangled in the aftermath of a botched drug deal, Caesar and Alfonso must band together to survive. And that's all I'll leave the plot at. So we got to watch this movie at the time of this recording. It is now out in limited theater release, but it will be on digital as soon as it comes. And we watched it. And Kristin, what did you think about Bad Hombres? Because we have a lot to say about it. This is why we
yes, we do. We do have a lot to say. So it came out this past Friday, January 26th, and it will be available on DVD starting March 12th. So I was curious when we were given the option to watch this. I was like, okay, Luke Hemsworth, part of the Hemsworth clan, and Thomas Jane from Punisher, Nick Cassavetes from Face Off, and then of course Tyrese Gibson,
love
of your
Tyrese.
favorite franchise. And I just knew Tyrese from just other films in general. So I was like, okay, maybe we should check this out for us and see, because we like some action movies from time to time.
Yes, I do.
And crime thriller, that's what this also is. Besides, it has a little bit of action. So but I didn't love this movie.
No, this was a very very disappointing, kind of boring action movie, I guess. Like
boring.
I felt it was
crime thriller film, and I was like,
I think.
And I was just disappointed how it just turned out. Like, everyone in this film is so unlikable. Like, like everyone's trying to kill one another, and I'm just like, okay, like there's no one for our main character to even trust. Like, everywhere he looks, he's ready to die. Like, honestly, like I don't know how our character survived.
He's just luck. That's like it's very just you just took it out. Like, the characters are very unlikable. Like, you can have a screenplay and you can have characters, like you can write characters that are unlikable, and you can at least they have like some I'm going to say like like even redeeming qualities. And I'm not even saying like you have to give an arc, as long as you make them like, okay, they're unlikable, but like we want to root for them. I don't find myself rooting for anyone in this movie.
No, and it sucks because I want to acknowledge that this movie that also caught my attention is that Oliver Hudson, Kate Hudson's brother, and Wyatt Russell are also producers of this film. So I was like, oh,
which shocked me greatly.
Yeah, that was like, okay. And like, as more as finding out when I was watching this movie, I was like, wait, how did they get attached to this?
Listen,
I did some deep diving.
You got the research on hand. What you got?
Kurt Russell worked on Jonathan Steinberg's film in the past, and that was a film called Crypto back in like 2019.
So do you think this was a favor he called in?
I think he called in just someone was like, hey, friends of Kurt Russell's fam, do you want to work on this film to help me get it financed? Not saying that could have happened, but maybe it did, but I just don't think John Steinberg's work is as impressive when I was going through everything. Because I was like going through it and I was like, okay, what makes him stand out? And none of the films that mostly really truly stand out, because I was like, okay, what makes this different from other stuff he's done? Like this crypto one, like
Mm-hmm.
it's about a Wall Street journal who connects a small town art gallery to a global conspiracy, putting his own family in a grave danger, kind of like what we saw in this movie, like, family, man who's in trouble. But when it's called crypto, I think of now like Crypto Zoo or something
I was gonna say
crazy.
Crypto the Super Dog. That's when I was like, Crypto's a
Or
super dog?
Crypto, I don't know what this one is about, but that film, Crypto, is sitting at a 17%. But then I was looking at his other stuff. His other stuff doesn't sound impressive to me, but he has worked with a lot of similar people in the past. So at least he has a network of people that he can work with.
I was say, yeah, at least he
which is
keeps
fine.
himself. Yeah, but this is
But that doesn't mean the content that he's making is great.
well, at least he's not like what was that director's name who keeps doing those horror based on true crime stories, who did American Monster, whatever his name is.
Our good pal, what's his name? Not American Monster, American Psycho, the one from Peyton List.
Yeah, I don't know, like,
and oh god, and we've talked about him.
We literally
we've shat on him.
who reviewed The Haunting
I'm looking it up now.
of Sharon Tate. I completely forgot about his name. I'm thinking of Sharon Tate.
Peyton List. That's not the Peyton List I know. There's like
okay,
there's Peyton. Okay, I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. Okay, wait.
Daniel Ferrer. Daniel Ferrer. That's it.
That's it. Yes. Okay, it's not as bad as that. So, but
no. So that's a good ceiling, but yeah, no. I get my thing. Are you? Can I add something too?
Yeah, go ahead.
My thing with Bad Hombres is like another thing that I feel like is a weak aspect of this film. It's just the writing. Like,
that's the biggest part for this film.
It was written by look at my notes here real quick if my computer can. So it was written by so Stauberg was one of the writers, but also Nick Turner and Rex New, which is a cool name though. Rex New, that's pretty much of a cool name. They were the other two writers, and just by looking up some of their previous works, because I just want to, like, whenever I see a movie and I'm like, man, this is like this is like this is not really that good. I need to see what else they've done. Looking on their IMDb, if I'm looking at the right. So the previous thing he made, Rex New did, he was just a lot of short film producers, and this looks like he was a co-producer too. So this is the only ones he's written for is like Dance Camp, and that's like a 3.9 at IMDb. And then Nick Turner, his previous works, let me see, IMDb, his previous works. Okay, here we go. This has to be one. So Nick Turner, his previous works is that it looks like he's done a few TV miniseries. He's in the movie show You're Killing Me, Joker's Impractical Jokers, I Love the 2000s, Get Rich Nick. So they've done like kind of like on and off stuff. And I just felt like that, the writing in this movie isn't the strongest because
no, it's very formulaic.
Yeah, it's just very like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then Luke Hemsworth,
God bless,
is a little bit over the top in this film. Like, first, like, I wanted to like him, like when he takes on the two main characters in the film and he brings them in, and then it's like that's when the chaos ensues and he really goes like off the rails.
Did you what do you think about Luke Hemsworth? Because I'm very indifferent about his acting.
Oh, I'm very indifferent. This is nothing against the Hemsworth clan. Like I know we know he's got other brothers who are in the business, as we know, because of Liam and Chris, obviously, and they're the clan, and that's how we know of him. And I think he's aware of that, but he's not as good as his other brothers. No, Chris is the ultimate one, and then I would have to say Liam, and then Luke counts, like, because
Didn't he do that movie? What was it, Paranoia, a few years ago with like Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman? Was that him or was that Liam?
what was it called?
Paranoia. It was like back in 2015. One of the Hemsworths was in it. I want to guess it was for Paranoia 2015 movie.
2013. That was Liam.
That was Liam.
I was
okay.
thinking of a different movie.
All right. So wrong.
Wrong.
Wrong Hemsworth. I apologize, but no, Luke. I don't honestly with Luke. I'm not saying like he's a terrible actor. Like I feel like there's there, but it's just like I don't buy him as like the bad guy.
No, I don't buy anybody in this movie, and that's the problem.
Except for Tyrese. I love Tyrese in this movie. He was so cool.
I will condemn Tyrese.
Commend.
Yeah, that's the right word. It's been a day.
I like what his character's name is. The man with no name. It's like some like Clint Eastwood fistful of dollars.
That's where they put it in.
Yeah, the man with no name. I'm like, okay, that's
where
cool.
at least some kind of Clint Eastwood magic want to be sprinkled in with them, but no, I feel bad knowing that there's nothing good coming out of this film. Right now it's sitting at like a 50% chance, but I know it's trying to be something like I just said, like a Clint Eastwood, or even maybe like a Coen Brothers film where it's got all this revenge aspect, of like something like a true, not like True Grit, but I can't even think of the name. And it's the one that won the Oscar. It's No Country for Old Men.
There you go.
I needed a minute to think about it. And it's nothing like those, but
I feel like I will say like I do give him credit for trying to be different with this movie, because honestly, like from the vibe of it, I kind of feel like they took inspiration not only from Clint Eastwood, but my opinion, the last Purge movie, because a lot of the last Purge movie was like took place in a lot of the deep south, like near the Mexican border. So I do like some of the cinematography in the movie was pretty good though. I did like some of the shots. I was like, it did make me feel like I was in the desert because I was dry watching this. I needed water.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I feel like if you're on Hulu or wherever streaming services you have that has Bad Hombres, I feel like you can maybe just give it a watch, like a Friday night watch or something.
I'll just say, if anything, maybe have this on in the background.
Yeah.
It's not the best action movie, but
it's all right.
Not my favorite, but John Stahlenberg.
Jesus Christ.
Let's try
John Stahlenberg Jr.
Stahlberg.
Yep.
I am so sorry. But right now, maybe go back to the board and do it. I mean, right now, this is sitting at a tomato score. I'm only sitting at a 50%, but yet there's an audience score of 75. Maybe I'm just like...
So there'll be... Hey, don't worry. The people will probably watch it. So that's something you hang your head on.
Yep. But yeah, this is not for... It wasn't for me, but yeah.
So Bad Hombres is now available to watch digital. When is it coming out again?
On DVD, March 12th.
There you go. And and both movies we'll link them in the description of the IMDb. You can check it out too. But after Bad Hombres, we are talking about the next movie we are going to be going over. This one was much better. much better.
I actually I was surprised how much I actually enjoyed this for what it was.
This is 2024 Scrambled. This will be in theaters on February 2nd, aka at the time of this recording, this Friday. And this stars Gillian Borer, Jonathan Levine, Brett Haley, Amanda Mortimer, and it's directed by Lee McKendrick. And the plot is quintessential eternal bridesmaid Nellie Robinson, played by McKendrick, constantly finds herself between weddings, baby showers, and bad dates. When she begins to feel like the clock is ticking and is faced with the bleak romantic prospects, Nellie decides to freeze her eggs, setting her on an empowering journey to a brave new world where she ultimately discovers the one she's looking for might be herself. Now, I ain't gonna lie, when you're like, hey, we got this movie Scrambled, and then like I started hearing about it more, I was like, okay, please don't let this be like the donor party you told me about. Because I'm like, I heard the freezing eggs, I was like, oh boy.
Nothing like
no, this is
this is not like the donor party. I actually really...
This is a really good movie.
yeah, I was surprised how much I actually enjoyed this. And we should be happy we enjoyed this. This had its premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival last year. It is now getting a wide release, like what Max said, starting this Friday, and I really enjoyed it. I found this movie to be so god dang likable, especially for the film's lead, as the film is directed by Leah McKendrick and is also the writer too, and is our main star of the film.
Yeah,
It's real ultimately a movie about finding yourself and having almost kind of like a midlife crisis
it feels like that. So it is a
in
midlife crisis.
your mid 30s. And I could say this as somebody who's 28, who's
No,
almost like hitting
no,
30. I'm just like, oh god.
no.
No. So yeah. So I really enjoyed this for the performance, mostly of Leah. And she really put her heart and soul into this project. And
It
I
feels
absolutely adored it.
it feels like a personal project, to be honest.
You can
Like
tell it feels like it is one
because
from her point of view.
if I'm doing a quick Google search right now for her age, like Leah McKendrick she's 37.
She
So
still looks good for her age.
yeah, so this is probably definitely like a film for like, because I'm looking at right now, like I brought up for context. This is for context of like what this film kind of, like you mentioned about being like the midlife crisis film. Lena Dunham had Girls, Amy Schumer had Trainwreck, and now Leah McKendrick has Scrambled.
And I had to say, as someone who has seen like, stuff like on the lines, that I feel like this is the one of the most that's going to relate to at least the white female demographic for it, and going through something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt it. It was really good. I found it to be relatable in some parts, but then again, any woman can feel like relatable to it, because everyone is like, and even, I guess you could say anyone is looking for, because our main character is looking for love, and she hasn't found that love yet because she wasn't ready to have kids yet. But like her character says in the film, and as you see in the film, her partner, she ends things with her partner because he was ready for kids, but she wasn't. But I won't reveal what happens with that. But then ultimately our main character, that's played by Leah, is, decides to freeze her eggs, which is not a bad idea since she's so unsure about what she wants to do. And I really like what she does at the end, and accepts, for our character's journey and what she does in the end. I won't say what she does.
No spoiler.
I really thought it was so sweet and so emotional.
Yeah,
That
it does play with your heartstrings a bit. It did make I did
really
get a little
did.
emotional too at the end. I won't lie. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
even like, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a guy, so these types of movies I'm like, yeah, whatever. But this actually got me, like, I was hooked. Like this is on my TV and I just couldn't. I didn't want to get up. Like I watched this whole movie like because it was like I was like, whoa, like this is actually kind of has a point to it. Wow.
Yeah, it does. All right, so our character goes through all the main guys that she's thinking of, also going through, like, starting back a relationship with again, to potentially find, a suitor, to eventually, like, have a life with, like a romantic relationship with. There were so many guys that she dated. I
Oh
don't
my
even
gosh, yeah.
know which one was worse than the next.
Remember back in what was it, in Austin and Alley, when the friend had that many jobs? That's how many partners that she's had in this movie.
Not saying that's a bad thing.
No, no. I'm just like, damn, it's a lot.
Yeah, she had a lot. And I think the worst guy that shows up is the guy that was played by what's his face? Adam Rodriguez. Just when he shows up, oh my god, just the scene that he shows up with at the bar. That scene was so great. I loved that scene with the two of them. Oh,
It was good.
there was a lot of good stuff in here, and a lot of great material that I actually really enjoyed and laughed at. And then a lot of comedic talent in here, between, like, I noticed from like watching from like TV and stuff like that, including like, Andrew Sorrentino, who like works with like Bobby Lee for the Bobby Lee podcast, I
I
think, from
love the
time to
Bobby Lee.
time.
I love the Bobby Lee.
You know,
Family.
I don't know if Bobby Lee is he goes on the Bobby Lee, like if he's a co-host of that, but I know he's good friends with Bobby Lee, and Andrew is going to be starring in with Zac Efron, in the upcoming like Ricky Stinky,
Yeah,
the whatever John
John
Cena
Cena.
movie.
Yeah,
That looks really funny. Brett Dyer, who's like another like comedian. Like there's like recognizable people that like I at least have seen that show up. And then also Clancy Brown just shows up as her dad.
that made me like, oh, I think I ought to be like, oh, Clancy Brown. I love Clancy Brown. We love a good Clancy Brown appearance.
Because I was like, that's Harmonbinger from John.
That's freaking Mr. Krabs.
Yes, that's Mr. Krabs showing up saying he's like, I want grandkids. Yeah, because he plays like kind of like not the best dad, you know, not the supportive dad, like you know, the dad that's like, when are you gonna give me grandkids?
As someone who has grown up and has a older sister that has 2 kids, and the mother is like, where's my grandbabies at? Like, I want a granddaughter, and like you're like looked at it as like the last resort. I'm like, no, keep waiting.
Yeah. Oh, but it was like I was just shocked to see Clancy Brown. I was not expecting him to show up in this film. Because I went in head first. I didn't even watch the trailer. I was like, let me just go into this and be so ultimately surprised, like I was. And
I loved it.
I really dug it. I was very surprised. It's a very bubbly, heartwarming, you know, feel good film, like what you're finding yourself with love and, you know, making huge life decisions like, you know, a character who's going to freeze her eggs. I mean, that's like, you know, a big life decision. So,
do you think so now with this hitting the film festival set, and this is coming out on a wide release for Friday, do you think when award season comes up near later the year that this might get mentioned something?
it probably would have been out sooner, but
well, seeing how stacked everything was with everything, I think this movie would have probably gotten snubbed too. So I think it coming out now, it's a potential to at least get something, because it could
maybe
be
down the road. I hope it does, maybe in the future, but I just really dug it. But I also want to acknowledge one thing. One of the producers of the film is one of my favorite directors, and his name is Brett Haley, who has worked on a few different things like I'll See You in My Dreams, The Hero with Sam Elliott, really great film. Hearts Beat Loud. And if you ever seen the other 2 like Netflix movies, All the Bright Places and All Together Now, I think he's just a film director who shows a lot of heart and soul. So I am very happy he was attached to this project, because I had no idea he was, and seeing that he was, it kind of makes sense from looking at his filmography. I was very happy to see it, and I was like, okay, I understand why this was likable, because he's a very likable director. If you ever see like his interviews or like watch his previous films, they're all like, they're very, very great. So, and he's a director who's like worked with like, you know, Nick Offerman and Bethel Danner, and like I said, Sam Elliott. It's like, you know.
And I will say I will keep an eye out more for Leah McKendrick, because I really was not familiar with her work before, but I'm looking at her.
No, I wasn't either.
I'm looking at her filmography, and I remember she actually did this film called MFA, which is actually a really underrated film that came out back in 2017.
I heard about this. I just haven't watched it.
That's actually good. And she's actually the writer of that movie, and she's also doing the sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, and she's going to be doing a Grease prequel called Summer Lovin'.
And that's what Brett Haley is also working on. So I'm happy the 2 are going to be working together again.
So she's got some things. I definitely see that there was some. I did like the writing. It wasn't like, there were some times where it was a little rough, but I think that her writing actually makes me like, I want to see her other works now.
Yeah, this is just only the beginning for her. I know she's going to go on to do like great things. Knowing what she did here, and just knowing how likable the whole movie kind of felt, I know like she'll bring like a lot of like smart comedic decisions going forward, hopefully. And do you know what the one thing this movie reminded me of? Like, you know, the movie like Friends with Kids, the one with like, you know, John Hamm and stuff like that, and Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
That's what this movie kind of reminded me of. like
a
in
little- yeah,
that
I can see that.
a
Yeah.
little bit of that realm, just like a movie that involves like kids in general. So if you ever see that movie, I just thought about that. So,
But yeah, no, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but anyways, I
Yeah.
just want to shout out to Lionsgate and say
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
This was a really sweet treat. This was our first team up with Lionsgate, and I just want to say we were very happy to connect with you. We can hope we can chat more movies about like this soon.
Yes, thank you so much. And make sure you check out Scrambled. It will be in theaters this coming Friday, February 2nd, by the time this comes out. Link in the description to check it out on IMDb if you want to get to know more about the film. But those are the two films that we covered today on our little review spree. It's a little shorter episode, but it's still an episode nonetheless. We just wanted to go over these nice two movies we were given.
A lot of movies lately.
Yeah.
Especially on my end,
But no, join us next time for what's the thing?
Madam Web.
Yeah, so we will take
Woman.
after this episode comes out, we will be on a little break, and then next time you see us, we will be talking about possibly Morbius 2.0. If I'm wrong on that, then I'm going to look like the biggest idiot on the planet. But we will be talking about Madam Web, and then we'll be making our Oscar picks down the line too. But next episode definitely will be Madam Web, and possibly a guest, possibly not. If we have a guest, it'll probably be funny, but we're just gonna be funny anyway. So make sure you check us out on our socials on Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and listen to us on any of your podcast streaming services. Look up the M&K Productions Podcast anywhere you listen to. I've been Mac. This has been Kristin, and you have been listening to the M&K Productions Podcast. See you next time.
All right, bye.
Baby, you a star, I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys, I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah.